Hello, welcome back to Steve's Retirement Corner. Time changes in retirement. Hey man, your whole life from the time you start school to the day you retire revolves around somebody else's time clock. From the time you go to bed to the time you get up and everything in between is controlled by somebody else. You know, the day you retire, that falls on you. Your time becomes yours. And that's what gives you that daggone feeling of freedom, man. Like you can do any daggone thing. Anytime you want. You know? It becomes different to you. And then but it not only does it give you that sense of freedom, but sometimes that's what gives people that sense of being lost. You know, stuff not feeling right. Because it ain't, man. You've done things one way all your life. And it's because you didn't know any better, and it's the only way you had to do things, you know. I didn't get up and go to work because I wanted to. I got up because I needed the daggone money. It's the only way I knew to do it. You know, but you got to be careful. Not only is it probably the greatest thing having that time be your own. I love it, Doc. But you know, time gets away from you in retirement. It just does. You know, it's easy to lose track of time and to get distracted because you ain't got nothing that has to be done at a certain time. You ain't got that 9 o'clock meeting, production meeting. You know, you don't have that meeting after lunch for, I don't know, quality or safety or any of that bull. You know, you ain't got to meet new customers at 12 o'clock. You ain't got none of that stuff, man. So, I mean, you know, don't really have a time frame for anybody, for anything. It's, I always call it time crunch. You know, you don't have a time crunch. It can take you 6 days to do something, or it can take you 13 minutes. It just depends on you and yourself, and that causes you to. That makes it so easy to put off doing something. It does. That's just a plain fact, Doc. You know, and that's why, you know, hey man, you ever seen anybody that didn't have a darn thing to do but was constantly behind? Well, that's what happens in retirement if you ain't careful. And another thing too is, since you ain't got that time crunch on it, you ain't got to be, you ain't got 30 minutes for lunch, or you got to be back. You run out to get lunch and you got to be back. You're not in a hurry to get anything done. I'm not in a darn thing. And it's so easy for me to stop and turn something that's a 30-minute job into a 3-hour job. It's so easy. Well, I got to get my sitting time in. Right? The proper amount of sitting time is vital in retirement. For me, anyways. But it's, well, I tell you what, not last week, but the week before, I was down at the park. Usually I consider an hour about my time for my walk. The time I drive down there, it's only a couple miles around the corner to that park. Take my walk. My walk takes about 35 minutes. I don't do but 2 miles. And I cut it back from 4 because I was going to the gym also, plus doing my little exercise over there. I didn't want to do that much exercise. But so I cut it back. But and then I usually sit down on the tailgate there and watch the geese trim the field, or listen for that peacock, or watch ospreys or whatever's out there while I drink my water to rehydrate. And then I usually come home, and it usually takes me about an hour to make that round trip. But one day 2 weeks ago, it was Wednesday. It was that Wednesday 2 weeks ago. I run into a buddy of mine down there and stopped and talked to him. Next thing I knew, it was 3 hours later. Got me in trouble with the baby. She was wanting to go somewhere that morning. She left without me. But I mean, it's just so easy. Just so easy to get distracted and lose track of time because you don't have anything that has to be done at a certain time. You know, that's that freedom you got. You know, and the trouble you get from that, man, is you start running behind like I do. You know, I got stuff from that first year to get done. I retired. That was 4 years ago that I ain't done yet. You know, you have to have you know, be time management. You know, do the stuff you want to do first. The stuff that you've been dying to do while you were working, just never had the time before you retired. You know, take that trip. Go see them grandbabies. You know, sit and visit a little bit. And then, you got to do that stuff first. Because if not, man, you'll never get to it. You'll never get to it. Because it's too easy to let it slide on by. You get too bogged down in just daily activities and living life. You'll never get to it. That's one of the reasons I busted my week up like I did. Had 2 off days. That ensures I get that stuff done and gives me plenty of time to get stuff that has to be done, like cutting the grass or taking the car down for inspection or whatever. You know, there's not a dime's difference between the 2 days for me, except for on my off day I don't schedule anything. You know, I might work all day, but it wasn't, hey man, I'm going to get this done or nothing. You know, it's a slower pace because you're running at your own pace. You know, it's not so much the time you got, it's what you do with that time. You know, that's the thing. It's just like anything else. I mean, it doesn't matter how much you save or how much you make. You know, it's what you do with it. It's like that gym coach of mine said, it didn't matter how far you ran, but it matters a whole lot of how you run. You know, you get out of it, you know, what you put into it. But that time crunch is a great feeling, but not having it can just make you, it can make things rough on you in retirement. It just can. You got to have that time management, and I don't have that. You know, I think having a schedule helps. You know, hey man, I want to do this every morning, or I want to do this in the evening, or whatever. I mean, it helps. It don't work for me because I get distracted and lose track of time all the time. The only thing I never forget in retirement is what day it is, because I have to take a blood pressure medicine. I got one of them little pill caddies, so it's labeled for me every morning. But the time of day, a lot of times time of day I can guess that and pretty close, because I carry a pocket watch. I'll never have one on my hand. I don't have one of them daggone cell phones yet. Maybe one day. That's a goal of mine in retirement, to get a cell phone. but you know, it's something to think about before you step out, man. You know, do you want to be just as busy and hurried as you were the whole time you was working? I didn't. So I got a extremely loose schedule that changes constantly. You know, I try to knock out the big stuff that I want to do, because if I don't think about them, they'll never get done. You know, it's like that daggone wheelbarrow still sitting over there in pieces. I'll get to it this year. I drug it out where I could see it. But it's, you know, and it's, I don't know, it's, time is a funny thing when you retire. It's forced upon you when you're working. The day you retire, it's up to you. It'll slip away from you. You'll get busier than you ever thought you could. You get distracted so easy. There's nothing that's got to be done. And you know, it can be great, but you got to monitor it. You got to manage it. You know, and maybe that's the way it ought to be. Might be the title, Managing Free Time, which there ain't no free time in retirement, Doc. Anybody tells you that ain't trying. There just isn't. I got to get off here now. My little lady had to take a car into the shop. So I'm gonna run and pick her up to go get it. So, oh, and this is my sweat rag. Anybody's gonna go south of the Mason-Dixon line in the summertime, this is the key. You don't have to be doing anything, just wringing the wet. It's rained all weekend. It rained a little bit this morning. The sun comes out, you'll see that daggone steam rising up off the ground. It's like sitting in a sauna. So you gotta carry your sweat rag. And stay hydrated. That's 2 tips from me today for your safety. I'm doing what do you call that? Public service announcements. But it's just something to think about. You know, you don't know until you get into retirement how your time's going to change, how it feels to you, how things are going to work out. You know, it can be great, but you got to keep an eye on it. Yeah, it's my thought for today. Y'all take care of yourselves. We'll talk to y'all later.